A very good morning to you, Airbus Cockpit Coach here, and you're joining me live here at London Luton Airport, where we've got some pretty awful weather actually. So I'm not too far away from London Luton myself, and I currently have fork lightning hitting around the Airbus Cockpit Coach flight training facility. So if we get a power cut and I suddenly disappear, that's what it is. So we are on a bit of a weather alert for heavy rain and flooding. It's looking right here at Luton at the moment. We are on live weather, live from VATSIM as well. So weather in the area not great. So currently thunderstorms. If there's a thunderstorm affecting my home, it will also be affecting London Luton. So I have seen CBs in the forecast, and you can see off to the side there. There's some awful weather around, some dodgy looking clouds. Big shout out to Pontiac91 who's joined the channel membership this morning. Very warm welcome to you, and enjoy the channel membership, and thank you for your support, Pontiac. Welcome. So yeah, it's so I haven't been very active on the channel this week. It's I actually had I've been operating out of my main base, and I had an unscheduled technical stopover, if you like, in Tel Aviv of all places. So been sitting around in Tel Aviv for a couple of days, so that's where I've been, and it's been a little bit of a interesting week in that regards. Just with schedule, being out of base, living out of hotels, and that kind of thing. But that's life. That's life as an airline pilot, and that's what we take as part of the job. It keeps us on our toes. So that's the situation. I will get on with some more content for you as well. Now I'm back behind the computer, so you've got that to enjoy coming up as well. So that's the update on the week. That's why it's been a little bit quiet. But to be honest, any week can go from busy to quiet, if you like. I'd love to take my PC with me everywhere, but I can't. So that's life. But yeah, interesting. That's how we roll as Airbus pilots at the moment out there. So Adrian, good morning from Santander, and good morning to Ted as well in chat. Coffee in hand. I got the coffee. I think I'm on coffee number 3 already. So there we go. So we're live in VATSIM. We're at London Luton, and I think actually in the real world we're at London Luton now. We'll be seeing a lot of standing water. So we're on flood alerts. There is thunderstorms in the area. So the weather slightly needs to play catch up here a little bit, but we do have the forecast that's looking. Let me have a look at that actually. So DBs in the forecast, broken 200 feet, broken 1900 feet. Let's jump on in. We'll get set up. Pontiac, enjoying the content and the videos that get to the point without all the fluff. Excellent. Well, I'm glad to hear that, Pontiac. I hope they're doing something for you. Right, there's our. I was just having a look at this earlier, so let's just refresh this. How we're doing. Yeah, wind's pretty light. It's variable. 4,400 feet visibility. Broken 200. CVs. One to watch. Now, I didn't actually look at the weather in Porto before I chose the destination, and it's also scattered at 200 feet with 1300 feet of visibility, so it's actually worse visibility than Luton. I was thinking we're going to go somewhere warm and see the sun, but I think I'm taking you into a fog bank by the looks of it, something along those lines. Cameron's supposed to be subject to some sea conditions there in Porto. You're obviously very close to the coastline, so I'm guessing that's what it is. Right, let's get this aircraft set up, shall we? Otherwise, stuck here all day. I am using SPAD Next for my controls. I'm just making sure they're all have a quick play on different things. Make sure the rudder's moving. That's it. We've got movement before we get too far down the line. Get set up. There we go. Excellent. Right, masters are off. Throttles are idle. Gear levers down where we want it. Wipers are off. I could be leaving those shortly. And we'll have voltages where we want them as well. Let's get a bit of a life to the aircraft. Hopefully volumes are alright for you. Let me know if you've got any issues on volume. Throw those in as well. So I'm using the mini FCU today. I've got the Captain's Mac Thrustmaster throttle set. I've done a fair bit of testing because we flew the Mad Dog last week, and when we came into Heathrow, where we had those awful frames and big stuttering blips, basically ruined the end of the stream, didn't it? But I've been back. I've been in the. I threw it in there, last night. Played around with a few things. It's been fine in the FENIX. So the Mad Dog may have been an issue. Let's just make sure we are 21.5, so we're monitoring guard. Fine. Just open that up on VHF2. We can put that on as well. Listen to that. Got Unicom on. So before we get too far down the line, what we'll be doing is tuning in the emergency frequency and the local, probably the tower, the ground frequency, just in case we had an issue, we had a fire, something goes on with fueling, we can request assistance quickly. We're doing there. Right, let's get the APU fire test done. I'll do the engines while we're at this stage. We'd normally do it a little later down the line, but let's get the noisy bit done. Wake us up. Excellent. Definitely a day to send the first officer out for the walk around. So we're in the A320-200 today, CFM 56, and the nav database is in date. So that checks. We have got on the wrong aircraft before, as you'll know from stream. Data in. So let's work up. We will test the bells. Working. Crew supply, ground control, voice recorder test. Excellent. That's a captain only. We want our nav lights on. Leave that where it is for now. Coming up, we'll drop the temperatures a little bit and we'll get the APU going in just a moment. I need to refuel, that makes sense, and no whites on that side. That's sensible. We would, of course, checked out the aircraft library, checked out our circuit breakers, do things like our rain repellents and so forth. Open the door, I'll have a look out there. There we go. Some passengers on in just a moment, and we want to be making sure that our masks fit and we have our oxygen supply working and is at 1800 psi. That's sufficient, that's fine. And also, before we get too far down the line, I want to be checking our oil quantities. 17 quarts, that's good for us today. Right, we're going to be easy, 85 Zulu Bravo. Our flight plan, we need to have a look at that as well. So 370 for the cruise. The cost index of 5 today. 370. That's forecasted minus 53. $35,212 on the Tropo. Ground temperature's 15. I think we've got a prelim. No prelim yet. I need to trigger boarding or something for that to happen. Have a look. So in fact, we should get boarding underway. There. Expecting 146 passengers, 2.2 on the cargo, 8.3 on the fuel. And let's get GSX doing its thing. With that, I will throw the APU on. Because without a first officer on board, I normally forget things like that. So back to the flight plan. Our limiting factor is our zero fuel weight today. Takeoff weight of 66. We're going to be departing above our maximum landing weight. Our landing weight at Porto will be 61.2 forecast. We've got an underload of 3.1 tonnes to play with. And we've got a max shear rate of 3 today at LTEP. So that's where we can expect the worst of our turbulence. Quick look outside, make sure GSX is doing its thing. There's the fuel going in. Windscreen wipers on the trucks there. I haven't got any rain on our windows, but yep. Those doors open on the aircraft. They all crammed in there. Flying Cube, very well, thank you. Been a busy week. I was just telling you I was there at the start. Unscheduled 2-night stay in Tel Aviv this week due to technical issues with an aircraft, and operating out of my normal base as well in the UK. So that's fun and games of flying. All good fun. They're still in a line. Passengers coming on. There they are. Look, there we go. People. Wait for Ted to get on. He usually sits here somewhere. Alright, let's play on with this, shall we? Let's get this sorted. So we are expecting to come out with 07 at Luton. Let me just check that actually. Are we on? Got to be real world here, haven't we? So has been a bit variable recently. Yeah, we're departing 7 at Luton. Real world, there we go. Keep it real world. Been flipping around quite a lot because it's been convective activity. The wind can come from one side or the other, switching around very quickly. Six Alpha for 3.5. Seven 793, Yep, that's good. Deal with that. Have a secondary setup for an engine failure. Reference line in there as well, just in case an engine goes pop, and we've got something to follow there as a reference. I also need to put in new destination. Putting in Luton. Skeptical with Luton. So I'm overweight. Thunderstorms in the area. Visibility isn't great either, so we're not in the realms of a takeoff alternate. If the worst comes to the worst, you know, we would come back into London Luton and we would get the aircraft down. It's a case of is it the safest option? I guess if we didn't have, if we had time on our hands, well, I'd go somewhere else today. Welshie, good morning to you. It's been a while. Have I seen the MSFS 2024 previews? I've just been looking at those only yesterday, actually, and I thought I might grab myself that special edition. I thought, oh, that looks interesting. Where's our aircraft jumping around? So yes, I've seen it. I'm excited by it. Even today, you know, things like thunderstorm. How that looks, you know, lightning and things in the sim, it would be a lot better, but I think in 2024. So yeah, I'm excited for that, and I will be getting it. So maybe even getting an early, get signed up early on it. Yeah, it's all going the right way, isn't it? Something there for everyone. Right, so temperatures 15. Okay. Bring some charts up. Need so light winds. So the visibility's improved now. We're up to 3,000. All broken. A few at 200 was broken. I think I overcast at 200 earlier. So That's a 1000, so it's improved a little bit. So yeah, there's fog in the area, isn't there? But yeah. Okay. Bit of a sketchy forecast, but Matacane is the alternate today. No variable 3 knots later on. Yeah, it's nothing at the moment. Again, I don't want scattered at 100 feet as a destination alternate. That's no good to me. Alright. Drizzle, light drizzle, overcast 200, CBs in the area. I think that lightning's passed. I had a lightning flash for a little while here at Cockpit Coach head office. So, bit of a bumpy day out there though. So here we go. Isolated embedded CBs as we hit the south coast. I imagine they're working their way up. But yeah, we've turbulence expected. We'll be keeping the seatbelts on for a little bit longer after departure today. It will be a weather avoidance day, this one. There we go. You can clearly see the centre of the low pressure there. Everything's whipping around as that comes over the UK. So winds are increasing. Light tailwind component quite strong as we get to Porto. I think compared to what they are here, we've got that convective activity. However, yeah, in terms of this is the 390 winds. $300. Still strong. So weather is a factor today. NOTAMs, unfortunately most of the NOTAM kind of stuff you don't see modelled. It would be cranes and taxiway closures, but we'll also skip through that. Nothing too exciting in there. Charts is what we wanted, so let's grab those. Nando, good morning to you. Bring up the ground for Luton. A charts. Yep. So coming off 07, looping around with the airfield, heading over to Henley, north of Bovingdon, keep clear of Heathrow. Turning to the south, standard speed. MSAs initially 2,200, just missing the 2,000 zone, 2,100 back into 2,200. If we want to consider engine failure, we're going to be looping out into the 2000 MSA zone, so that's what we need to consider there. That's the important piece. Stop climb 5,000, so we'll get that in the FCU awake. 5,000 in, 5,000 blue. And I think we're ready to do a little bit of a briefing for our departure. So it's going to be a left-hand seat departure today. Departing runway 07 London Luton from Bravo 1. We should do the performance really. Anything based on loading? Yeah, it's loading, I believe. Could chuck in the prelim Do it off that. Aircraft keep jumping around. So we do packs off. 33, 1, 7. Looks sensible. So this is obviously one to check, because this has been an update this week. I saw, and I was having a skim through the changes, and the EFB for takeoff calculations was mentioned. So hopefully much improved. Send that over. So yeah, we'll go from Bravo 1. On the Rodney 1 Charlie, so first cleared altitude is 5,000. MSA for the engine failures 2,000. Otherwise, we're looping back round in the 2,200 zone. Fuel looks like we're loaded now, so we'll go and check that out in just a moment. That's in and balanced, and I did in pre-flight stage chuck a couple of extra 100 kilograms in, but weather is a factor today. In terms of hotspots, let's just go back in. We do have a hotspot on this part of the. We're here. Blue triangle. Coming out on Delta, around onto Alpha Bravo 1, but we have hotspot 1 here as traffic vacates from hotel onto comes in onto Bravo. That's the real only hotspot there. So collision risk for a misroute hotspot, perhaps even lining up, so your traffic can sometimes confuse Bravo 1 with hotel and turn into the traffic. Line up at the wrong hold. So that's one to consider. Obviously, we're all heading the right direction at 07. That's the thing with VATSIM. We may have people coming in the wrong way. We'll need to consider that. So we checked out our engine's takeoff performance. Engine out SIDS in the box, straight ahead of 25. If we have a serious issue and we need to get back down sharpish, i.e. a fire, I will come back into London Luton. However, if we've got time on our hands, I'm going to be considering weather and other alternates, and probably longer runways. Aircraft loaded. No non-standard ups, but the main hazard today is VATSIM uncontrolled airport with severe weather in the vicinity, so thunderstorm activity and visibility is a factor. So a bit of weather avoidance perhaps needed. So we'll just keep seatbelts on until we know we're clear out of the tops of the CBs. Maybe a bit of weather avoidance needed here and there. For takeoff, we'll stop for any fire warning or severe damage. This is up to 100 knots. Any sudden loss of thrust, ready cam warning, ammo caution. Side stick problems, and beyond that we'll just deal with master cautions only. We'll be takeoff minded today. Go minded. Short runway. It's pretty wet and out there, so we want to be go minded today. But yeah, anything with flight control issues or a red master warning, we'll be calling stop. Throwing the brakes in. Other than that, yep, we'll be going flying. Okay, any questions? No questions. So we've got passengers on. Let's see who's out there. Yep. Ed Pontiac sitting out there. That's who's watching the stream. Here we go. Right, I'm going to close the door. Ooh. Let's send that data across from loading as well. I haven't done. So we'll get a prelim. I don't know what triggers the prelim. Get a prelim today. I like to have a prelim. Prelim's real world. So we're actually forecasting it to 1.6 tons, and I think I might need that. So we'll see. Great. So we'll throw the pumps on. Seatbelts can come on, and we'll take the aircraft onto the APU bus. Before I forget, and press that beacon light, and GSX throws it off for me. The doors are closed. I think we're good to go, aren't we? And to stand by. Throw the beacon light on now. Send the signal to 6. All looking good up there, looking for whites. Asking me today. Right, prepare for pushback and departure. I'll just check. UNH is still reference 013. 013 check. I'm going to put the ATC on for you now. Let me know if it's too loud.
3. Luton traffic. Yeah, pretty terrible area.
Have a quick look around as well. See if there's nobody else out there in our way. Nobody directly in our way. Another EasyJet over there. Someone doing cargo ops over there. So we've accepted the aircraft, we'll check the fuel quantity, seatbelts are on, ideas are in nav, and we also want to come down here and check position monitor page. Excellent.
381, pushing back stand 221 on level.
Baro ref 1013 is cross-checked 3 times and looking. You might need a millibar change actually, it might be a bit out of date, but there or thereabouts with aerodrome reference altitude. And beacons on. Did he tell me to do something? Can you push back? Want to go nose left. You want me to release parking brake? Is that what it is? GPU is still packed with, isn't it? Yeah. Put the parking brake off. What happens? I think I've still got the pin in. No, don't want to interrupt pushback. Carry on. Just would like it to be a bit faster if possible. That's still got chocks. Just something. Have a look. Let's go into ground services. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Interesting. Okay. Parking brake released. Luton. Traffic easy 85 Zulu Bravo is pushing start stand 48 Luton. Indeed, APU, believe Mitch. Indeed. Right, before start checklists, parking brake is off, takeoff data is confirmed, windows are closed, we've got our door closed, locked, and slides there, and the beacon, oh, the beacon, that's what it was. I thought I put the beacon on. Did I press something else? That's what it was. Okay. Oh, no, don't press that. That's what then caused that delay. Then I thought I hit the beacon somewhere. Obviously, didn't hit it properly, and we ended up in a manual situation. Right. Start engine 2. My mini FCU's jumped to 4,000 there, so it's flicking around a little bit. So 5,000 back in, 4,000 magenta. Parking brake set. Two avail. Starting for one. I've got a few videos on that, but you need to know the bearing and the distance from the VOR, and you can put it in.
User traffic must be 81, taxiing holding point 09 right via Bravo and November 8.
The lights flickering on the bus. Right, two good starts. One Buffalo's up here. So going over there. Ground clutter screen, calibrate, auto, system 1. Back over. My hardware as well. Throw that on. Set, and we were flaps 1 for departure. I need to make sure, I should be doing this with my hardware. I'm going to go TARA now. I know that's, you wouldn't throw it on yet, but single engine, a single manned crew here. I want to try FS2 crew again. I've had a play around with that in the past. I might have another play with that. I'm too used to having a first officer, so yeah, it's a thing. So, flight control checks. Full up, full down, neutral, full left, full right, full rudder, right, full left, full 6 spots. Put the turn offs today, the visibility is a little bit low. But yeah. Hello. Thank you. See you in the cruise. Luton traffic easy 85 Zulu Bravo is taxiing from stand 46 via Delta Alpha to Bravo 1 runway 07 Luton. Right. Controls, hardware. I think hardware.
Luton traffic.
Rate test. Pressure 0.
6730 taxi runway 07. By taxi Delta Alpha.
Someone else heading out. I didn't hear where he was.
London traffic, speedbird 880, Airbus A320, rolling Heathrow runway 09 right.
Rate temps are good. Do have a look at those because you don't know where the aircraft could have come in from somewhere else and be hot. Right, clear left side and clear right side. Few sensitivity changes to my controls. Talking about first officers there. Now, when we flew to Copenhagen weeks ago, that was from Edinburgh, didn't we? We had the go around. I didn't retract the gear, so I was thinking about that. So why didn't I try? It's quite a simple one actually. That one, because the first officer would call positive rate. And then I would subsequently call gear up. And now, obviously, being in a single crew, that's how I'm trained in the real world. You follow that, you listen for it. all very standardised. The commands, obviously, certain commands are missing. So you think, okay, right. So yeah, that's just how we're all trained, and it's just drilled in. So actually, by coming in the flight sim, it does throw me around a little bit actually, because the other person is not there, and certain things trigger certain checklists and certain actions. So if they're not there, then here on the left side, here on the right. Bring up our hill here. Thrust. Don't normally need that much thrust to get this hill, as I say. Massively heavy. They do seem quiet for me today, actually, and they're actually quite high. It was just, I guess this is where you try and do too many things at once. But yeah, let's them up on there. These, I know why. That Streamlabs for you. Selected a different source. Have you got that now? It might be too loud now, so do shout at me if it's too loud. I don't know why it resets your sources, so where the sounds come from. It's just very strange. I didn't notice that wasn't flicking around very much on the input. So it's okay, there's no one coming down Bravo. Sorry about that, you must have missed a few noises, a few button clicks. Engine start noises and things. Maybe turn it down a tiny bit, yeah.
GeForce traffic channel 381, holding point November 8, runway 09 right, lining up.
Back to flying the plane. Acting like a learner here, aren't I? Wet conditions though. Let's just get on the straight, maybe I tracker off. So flight controls are done, and lap settings, we are config 1 plus F. We're 133 blue, 136 magenta, climb nav to blue, 1 FD2, and we've got 4000 magenta, 5000 in the FCU, radar predictive wind shear is on, ECA memo is takeoff, no blue. Taxi checklist complete. We are TARA already, so I can't see any traffic. I'm just going to have a quick look on the old map. So we've got 3 departures here, no one inbound on VATSIM. We'll take Max off now. Those valves transitioning. Losing traffic easy, 85 Zulu Bravos lining up runway 07 Luton. Consider ourselves cleared.
For traffic KLM 1008 taxiing to holding point runway 09 right,
right side.
Alpha November Bravo 10.
Cleared left side.
Traffic
Using as much of that runway as possible, coming at the angle. Behind us waiting, is there? Oh, there is. The cargo plane. Sorry.
Traffic is 09, so the Mike taxi holding point 0.
We don't rush our checks though. We don't rush our checks. So line up checks. We should take a runway 07. TAR Apex 1 and 2 off. Quick scan. Go. Take off. Luton traffic easy, 85 Zulu Bravo's departing 07, Wadley 1 Charlie departure, Luton. Engine stable. Manplex, 57 SRS runway, auto thrust blue.
Accept flight.
Thank you. .100 knots. Wibbly wobbly. Right, V1. And rotate. Positive climb. Gear up.
Luton traffic, Postman 6730, line up on the Delta.
AP1. Leave a climb. Just need the nose to drop and positive trend. There it comes. Thrust climb, auto thrust. Right, check of temperature. We're okay and icing. Oh, let's go pack one.
Keep the traffic LM 1008 lining up runway 09.
Pulling speed,
Right.
185. Holding it there. We'll keep flaps 1 down. For this turn. Bit of a tight turn this one, so if you want to stay on track. This is real world. You want to be watching the speed on this departure. Otherwise, we'll overshoot a little bit. Speed alt star. In the soup. 17 degrees, so we're okay. Nice. Altitude constraints. 4,000 level off. Not much to see out there today. Holding flaps 1.
Heathrow traffic LM 1008 taking off runway 09 on right.
I'm going to climb us, so first climb, open climb.
Please keep your seatbelt fastened while the seatbelt sign is off.
We'll go standard, flight level 100, 100 blue.
Whenever you are seated.
Holding speed there.
Toilets are located at each end of the cabin. Remember that smoking is not permitted at any time. This includes e-cigarettes. In just a few moments,
Luton traffic is designed to be my counter departing traffic line up and wait to the
fresh food available today. All details can be found in your in-flight function. You can also purchase a selection of hot beverages together with drinks and snacks from the bar. We accept payments in pounds.
Okay, now manage speed, and you have to watch the flaps here, so it can shoot up very quickly and you can overspeed if you have this situation in the real world. Using high thrust. Speed checks. Lap 0. BLS shooting right up. So thrust climb, open climb, nav. D1, 1FD2 will show thrust. Sensible flight level 100. This is where you need a weather radar. It looks like I should be doing a bit of weather avoidance, and I probably would be here in the real world, but I can't see a clear route through, so I wouldn't know the best way to turn. Fortunately, we need the weather radar. Maybe that's coming in Flight Sim 24, who knows? Be nice if it did. 13 degrees, and I'm watching that, particularly in CB conditions. You can get sudden lows of temperature. Hence you have hailstones. Continue the climb. 370, that's our stop today, wasn't it? Yep.
Luton traffic Cotman 3730 passing for downwind, please find us for
Acceleration, keeping the seatbelts on. Passing 100 there, so we're 10.5 now, cross-checked. Throwing it down with rain. But I would concur that these conditions are correct. And I would try and find a path through with my weather radar, as I said, but it's looking without weather radar. This is why you see a lot of aircraft, if they have a weather radar failure, they just return. They won't continue with the flight, because you'll end up in a situation like this. Where do I go? You could have a hailstone, thunderstorm, CB impact all around you potentially here, and you won't be able to find a path through. So it's particularly important to have the weather radar functioning, and this is exactly why. At the moment we are blind. Some nice impressive clouds though. It's temperature, so I'm going engine anti-ice now. To 9. Impact our climb performance slightly, having the anti-ice on, but better than falling out of the sky. Nice. So when I was investigating those performance issues last week, I went back into Heathrow. I flew around in the FENIX, not the MD-82 as it was. I put beyond ATC on at Heathrow, and it had the traffic density at 5. It had a 10 frame FPS impact at Heathrow. Give you a bit of an indication of where that was. So, but that didn't cause me the stutters, so I can still fly with that beyond ATC at Heathrow. It's not an issue, but just saying that what the impact was still reasonably large, even though it's an external program. But I haven't had that same stutter issue since. I haven't been back in the MD-80, but whatever was causing that, I perhaps only presume it was the aircraft or the flying optimised. Well, I don't know. I don't like to sort of, so many variables. I don't like to criticise one thing, but having removed the aircraft, it works fine with the FENIX, and we've obviously streamed out of Heathrow and into Heathrow and the FENIX fine in the past, no problem. Beyond ATC did have an impact, but it was coming in waves. The impact, it was like slowing us down in waves. So I'll keep engine anti-ice on for a little bit longer, as we're going to go back in shortly. You could arguably take it off here, but then it's the risk of forgetting to put it back in, so you'd just normally keep it on. Seat belts remain on. Do remind me to review that later on. I haven't got a first officer. I haven't got a cabin crew here that's going to come in and say, okay, Captain, can we have the seatbelts off please now? We've forgotten again. So yeah, I haven't got that today. Things I miss in the sim. Prompts. Well, you have two crew to, you know, to keep each other on the toes, mind each other on things. It all helps. Okay, pressurising, that's sensible. Much to see of the ground today. Good morning, Chris. How are you? Just navigating our way out of the convective activity over the UK, or thunderstorm activity, so we're in and out of CBs. Yeah, it's been it all kicked off yesterday with the thunderstorms in the UK. It's to be fair, at this time of year we get them all over Europe, so it's something we're quite used to dealing with. We don't get them so much in the UK, but the destinations I fly to in the real world, it's in any week there'll be thunderstorm activity somewhere that's impacting, and we'll be holding for it somewhere. Avoiding weather is nearly every flight, to be honest, as you cross Europe in the summer. That nice ridge of cloud ahead. That's we saw on the charts earlier. The south coast was a particular area of CB activity, but as we're heading that way, see, it's not looking great. Have a look outside. Hold your ears. Definitely an interesting cloudscape today. I haven't had that for a while in the stream. So we do need to be thinking winter ops, winter operations. Aircraft icing is going to be coming up soon. We've got the fog to contend with. The joys of flying in the winter. I think I mentioned on the last stream it was a big part of my recurrent training, which was just over a week ago in the simulator. Back in the moisture again. Yeah, it's minus. We're good for. We can almost go away with the anti-ice now. That's a minus 40 in the SAT. I have been thinking about your controls, Chris. In fact, but this was earmarked for Flight Sim 24, that there were going to be improvements to shared cockpit flying. I haven't seen much about it recently. That's all gone a bit quiet. I was kind of waiting for that, but to be honest, I wouldn't mind being the second pilot, and then I'll just watch you fly me around, and I can critique your flying. do a sim check for you. That's where I could probably add value. Is actually, we'll do this in the real world, we'll do that in the real world. I should consider this, consider that. I think everyone's okay with following a checklist, but just making things a little bit more real world in terms of how we operate the aircraft. Certain things you can only know by flying the aircraft and experiencing that. Minus 43. We take the engine anti-ice off now. We're clear of those conditions. Range up a bit. Approaching Southampton. where that area of weather was lying, the west of it, west of the turbulence. So we're still seatbelts on. We've already given a little bit of a cabin announcement explaining that, what we would have done in the real world. Telling them they're going to have a bumpy ride, and this is part of the real world aspect here that I'm not seeing in terms of turbulence at the moment. Flying through this kind of stuff, we would be bumping along. I've got no indication of any bumps on my speed tape. Yeah, the altimeter will be bumping a little bit, it'll be a little bit jittery. That's where, I know we're not in the real aircraft, that's where I'd expect to see it. So, from a static point of view, if you like. I've got turbulence on low, which I think is still the FENIX suggestion. If I put it to realistic, it seems to cause problems. If anyone knows any different, so has that been changed or not? I don't know. I would like to have more realism on turbulence. That's something I miss. Raining hard in the Mediterranean. No. Okay, well, let me have a look. We can do maybe for channel members, we can do something with your controls. Prices for MSFS 24 make me sick. It's, yeah, it's certainly an investment, isn't it? I was thinking about going for the Aviator model though, Chris. I think just at the start of the stream I was saying that one did catch my eye. It's all, I guess it's all relative, but how much do you get out of that? So if you wind back 4 years, and I thought, okay, Microsoft Flight Sim 2020, that's expensive. But then look at that, I've had 4 fantastic years of messing around with it, haven't we? And it's been, I think the early years it had a lot of niggles. It's quite frustrating from a performance point of view. I think they would have learned from that in 24. We won't revert back to that, but so it'll only be an improvement from this point. So if I kind of consider that over time, yeah, actually, okay, you don't have to have the Aviator model, I guess. It depends what you're flying the sim for, and I need to look into a little bit more because I don't fly a lot of the old classic birds and things like that, so I'm more into the airline ops. So I will go in, but I sort of think, okay, that's 200 quid for at least perhaps let me say another 4 years of development and flying fun. So if you spread that out, amortise that cost over that time, it's. I think we take the seatbelts off now. Happy with that. Sorry, passengers, keeping it on so long. No smoking should be in auto. That's right. The old auto discussion in. Right, I must have hit the smoking sign instead of the beacon. That's probably what I did. Fire team, how long till we're in? That's a very good question. How long till we're in Porto? At 10:12 UTC. So yeah, so an hour and 40. An hour and 40. I don't want to lose our aircraft. A320 Neo, Ray 190. Yeah, I mean, I want all that kind of stuff to map over. I mean, everyone's made huge investments into flights in 2020, including me. And I look at my, I've probably nearly got all the major airports as a payware somewhere in my sim, all bought on the marketplace. So, oh, my screen just went black. That was scary. Still with it? Yep, still there. Not sure that's a power blip or anything like that. So we've still got thunderstorms in the area. I did say at the start of the stream, we were fork lightning where I am, but hopefully we're still going. I don't like my screen going black. That's scary. got a company message, and that's probably going to be telling me I'm ridiculously late, as usual. Oh, it's my load sheet. I didn't get edition 1, so compliance with edition 1, so no changes, 579661. I will cross check that though. 79 326. I live in the world of cross checking, everybody. That's what I do for a living, cross checking. I mean, surely they would be mad not to let all these other aircraft be able to operate in the sim. I mean, if FENIX has probably got a bit of work to do to go and put this this aircraft out for 24. There may be obviously changes to how the flight dynamics work in that simulator, so that needs to be taken into account with this aircraft. I know there may be a whole load of remodelling that needs to be done just to make them compatible, I'm sure. So. I did notice we get a 330 in there as a bit of a standard in one of the packages. That sort of opened my eyes a little bit. Who's making that 330 for Flight Sim 24? Haven't had any sign of that Aerosoft 330, have we, for a Cult Star? I'm only thinking that because interested in that because we don't do many long hauls, and the 330 is an aircraft I'll be able to find my way around. You know, it's not dissimilar to this one. It's Mac's Cruise. Any builds 330, okay. Yeah, a lot of airports. I'm heavily invested in airports. Don't forget, if you hold down on the system page here, if you hold down the all button, I think it's 3 seconds, it will skip through all the pages. In case you weren't aware of that, you don't have to keep clicking it. It will, if you hold the all button down, it will scan through. When you're doing your checks there. Oh yeah, we've got the 380 coming as well, haven't we? And the 350 at some point. So it's getting probably Airbusy, which is good. That's obviously the way for it to go. It's the correct way. Airbus. I'll play with some of those. Maybe it'll make me go for a long haul career change. So yeah, the simulator cost. I mean, so what's the premium deluxe cost of it? So the base was about 70 quid, wasn't it? And I'm probably, I hate to think how much I've invested in paywares over the years, the last 4 years. Probably $1,000 in there somewhere. Probably a good. Probably best that I don't look at it. Suppose there's some money to be made in these things, isn't it? But look where it is now. We're flying along. We're stable. We're in a study level aircraft with real world conditions, being well monitored, modelled. You know, look at the graphics we've got there. I'm happy to invest in something which gives you this kind of a return, to be honest. I haven't heard of any rumoured dates on that one. Ando. Going to have a look on the old flight radar 24 and make sure we're landing in the right direction in Porto. Conditions align. It is something we do in the real world. With some flight radar 24. So there's one coming in. Actually, the one. Actually landing 17. Collector's version. So I know there's a limited edition one. There was only 5,000 copies, wasn't there, of one of them? What do you get for it? But how much is P3D? Just thinking of comparative figures. Dear Flying Cube. I'm just thinking of, you know, comparative figures there. You know, it's other sims have been quite pricey. It's all down to how it lands. If you jump in it, you spend your money, you think, wow, that's the best 200 quid I've ever spent. You'll never look back, will you, and worry about that. But only thing that makes me a bit cautious, you sort of say, you hear all these things earmarked, like share cockpits we're talking about, it goes very quiet, and then you hear about the roadmap, and then you start hearing about things that won't be available on launch but will be down the line, and you think, okay. Alright. Arguably for if you're parting with £260, you should be getting it all, shouldn't you? That's that unknown waiting game. How long that waiting game is for some things. I don't like roadmaps. That just means we're thinking about it in my eyes. Might get it one day. We're passing abeam the Channel Islands. Let's have a jump outside quickly. Have a look. Here we go. Somewhere we're familiar with in the sim. Jersey. Jersey, that's Guernsey, isn't it? Guernsey, that one. Where's Jersey? Ah, over here. So yeah, Jersey Airport's much closer to the coast. It's quite a long runway at Guernsey. ATR ops. There we go. That's what we need down there. Another company message. This must be the one telling me off for delays. There we go. 43 minutes. Always find a good reason. Passengers, passengers. So we should plan in that case for, so we're in the landing real world. So let me just check the winds and my real world pad here going. Let's have a look. So that's quite true actually. We're landing 3.5. We would have a 5 knot tailwind. And a 3 knot crosswind. So swing it around for a 5 knot headwind and a 3 knot crosswind. Find a suitable arrival. 17. Let's play 3 Tango. Plane. Hello to you. No, we're not landing yet. We're probably an hour and a half out from landing, unfortunately. So we're cruising. We're just being the Channel Islands of the English Channel on our way to Porto, so we've got a way to go yet. We've left the undesirable weather of the UK behind us now. Right, what was I doing? Arrival, right. 17. That looks sensible. It's looking pretty sensible. I plan up. Always working ahead, so if you know you've got to change, something to consider. Yeah. Excellent. Thanks, same plane. See you next time. .2, extra 35 minutes to play, and 1.4 for the alternate. Just keep an eye on our weather. That was a factor today for our arrival as well as departure. That's refreshed. So 260 knots, 206 knots, variable. 2000. Yeah, got fog reckon 100. Okay. So we are on the ILS. Go into the exciting stuff. So it's a Cat 2 facility. So Cat 2 we can go down to 108 feet radio altimeter. Versus 351. So as it stands, I'm going to brief for the Cat 2. For this one, set up for the Cat 2 for arrival, given the forecast. Things to note: we've got slightly. I don't see this too often actually, having a glide slope less than 3 degrees. It's usually 3 degrees and you get the odd one that's a little bit more. I've got 2.7. So speed management won't be an issue. We can bring the speed back. just in terms of picture, you need to note that coming in a bit flatter. 417. Mr. Pro, straight ahead to 6, and we're passing 3, turn right to Retmo, holding Retmo's out to sea, isn't it? Right, we start that one, and the arrival was the 03 Tango, so coming in that direction, and that one starred. Yeah, MSA's there, so 75, coming over the terrain and dropping down the coast, just missing the 5-1 into the 3000. I think the key thing to remember is out to sea is best, so rain is a factor. Get ourselves a ground chart in as well. 17 is obviously favourable for taxi. You can come off at Delta, depending on traffic, even Charlie. 12 to the end. Where are we? Let's have a look here. You miss out a bit. This is where we need to start thinking about alternates. We've got nonce here, nance, how we pronounce it in your part of the world, but very French. Nonce. That would be my preferable location here for a diversion. Uh-oh, connection lost. At the weather. Looking green on my end. Is it the servers? That's LFRS. Good. Green. I like to see green. So I'm just making our equitime point a bit more useful there, because we're heading out over water shortly. We've got this crossing here, so I've put in nonce as our diversion, so it's now going to calculate and tell me which way to turn in terms of, do I carry on to Porto or go into nonce rather than go back to Luton, because we wouldn't go back to Luton at this stage if we had something serious happen. We'd only go back to Luton, obviously pending fuel. If the airport in Porto closed, I think actually the best thing to do is just bring them back. The company decision. My decision as captain would be final. I might say no, I'm not doing that. Fuel's looking a bit dodgy. I'm going thunderstorms at Luton. I'm going back to going into nonce or something like that. But obviously check the weather there. It's just looking down in the local vicinity though. It's we're passing. It's a lot better than the UK. We do want to throw some winds in just to give it a bit of an idea, so we would come over to our flight plan. So what have we got coming up? Omo. (182) at 16. a bit of an idea of what's going on with the wind. That does play a big part in equitime points. I do have a separate video on an equitime point, so do take a look at that if you look at that. It's a useful feature, but only if you put the right information in and keep it updated. If we zoom out a little bit now, so yeah, my equitime point now is just before Coral. Actually not too far from the Spanish coast. So that's the point where we can think actually, up to there we're going to Nantes, so we've got a problem. We'll proceed on if after that to Porto. Gaming Bubble, will you be buying a Flight Sim 24? I was even thinking about buying the pre-release Gaming Bubble. I might just. I'm going to be getting it, so I just need to have a look at a little bit more of a look at what I'm getting for each pack. I don't mind going all in, but only for things I'm going to use. So those who follow the streams, I'm more in the airliner world. I imagine the flight dynamics are going to be the same throughout. So unless there's a really nice commercial airliner in the top pack, I would probably think, okay, it might be the Aviator pack maybe. Yes, I will be having Flight Sim 24. Position reports. So, wind at Nantes. Light winds, 140 at 3, variable. All the 9s, broken at 300 though. We'll do have some low cloud, low overcast 52, 011 temperature, 4,000 hours. And CBs later, okay. Need to keep an eye on that. Visibility is a bit of a factor today over UK France, by the looks of it. Let's range this up. Go on VATSIM, it's very quiet. Let me just bring up the maps here. Nobody else around. Be quite air traffic control wise as well at the moment. The opposite direction coming up, but. Two departures in Porto. A BOMO. Fuel 4776 5760, so we're good on fuel. Could even throw in little barrow here. A very it's a place, isn't it? Going on. Barrow, we've got Bordeaux down here, considerations as well for alternates. Chris, my 7-year-old loves the airplane game. How would you go about slowly bringing him into MFS world? I've started reading in standard operating procedures at bedtime. That's quite interesting. So I was doing the same thing with my my son, and he's a bit older. He's 14. And I was thinking, okay, just as a career, would you consider this? Obviously sees my lifestyle and things, and obviously has a decent understanding of what I do. But I've taken him into the Airbus simulator, so he's been into the Airbus simulator, so he's a lucky lad and had that experience. But before that, I actually, did I make him? He kind of wanted to do some of the Microsoft basic flight sim instructor courses, lessons. So just the basics of flying in the Cessna, navigating. I think that's actually a really good starting point, because you have to know the basics. So standard operating procedures at bedtime, I mean that's kind of my world, getting ready for recurrent training. But you've got to learn and understand it from the bottom up, so almost as if you're approaching if you're going to take him into an aircraft, into Cessna for a troll lesson or whatever it may be. It depends how much knowledge he has already of it. If he's got a decent understanding of those things. But it's surprising how many people don't in the simulator world. They will jump straight into an Airbus and not really understand flight dynamics and how everything interacts and the effects doing one thing and having another thing. So that's the basics. With flight training throughout, it always goes back to basics. So having that good core understanding of basics. And he has done some of those. Some of them are better than others, Chris. Navigating, and navigation is one of the hardest ones. And if you think about, I don't think about going back to my private license days. I was in the Tomahawk, and completing those first exams. I've got those. I've still got those books somewhere, and all really relevant stuff you refer to. ATPL text. So rather than jump straight into SOPs, you need to, if you wanted to go and do this as a career and understand things properly, you'd be digging out the ATPL books, understanding flight dynamics, meteorology, engines, and all that. The technical aspects of the aircraft. So SOPs is the last thing you learn. Some of them are quite interesting. But let's say we suddenly ended up in a huge downgrade of capability with the aircraft. This aircraft will very quickly become a Cessna or a Tomahawk if we lost certain systems, and you need to know exactly how to operate the aircraft like a Cessna. So it comes back down to basics. That would always be my starting point. And if they were going to do it as a career, the first thing they'll be exposed to then is actually going, not SOPs. You'll never see SOPs for years, or 18 months. It will be all the basic stuff, and they've got to be prepared to face into that as perhaps it's not always exciting as airliners. It's learning the basics, the basic stuff is what I'm getting at. So it's obviously, you know, there's a difference. The airplane game, just wanted to jump in and fly airliners around, and great as a game. If you're thinking actually, if you're taking him into the simulator, like you said you have done there, and you're thinking actually this could be a career option, and he's really interested, and you know, want to progress it, I would start stripping it back to the basics and build that framework up from there. Everything, you know, even when we go into the current training in the simulator, it all comes back to the basics, some of the fundamentals of flight, and things that will stay to you throughout your career. So it depends whether he's a gamer or whether he's going in for the career-minded. Yusuf, am I happy with the performance of the RTX 4070 Ti? So far, so good, and it's, you know, it's streaming. It's got a pay-aware aircraft. I've got settings bumped up in the simulator, and it's doing the job. However, 4090 is always, you know, I can be a bit spontaneous, and one day I'll just go and get one. That's the reality of it. I'll just, but there's only so much time I can afford to sorting out issues, and stutters and things. And let's say we bought Microsoft Flight Sim 24, everything was disastrous. So 4070 Ti can handle it. I wouldn't then go and think, okay, right, it's going to tweak some settings. I wouldn't lower my settings. I think, well, that's unacceptable. I had this standard before. So I must therefore go and buy hardware. So not ruling out an upgrade. However, it's doing the job at the moment. And the glass magenta line fails. Most armchair pilots have nothing left in the bag. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we start moving into the world of alternate law and you know, system downgrades. The aircraft will handle very differently. Right back to basics, where you're trimming the aircraft out. Let's say you had a dual engine failure, the rats deployed. Your manual trim, all those basics come in. It's your initial instincts are pitch power. Obviously no power left, so your power is your angle of attack. Trimming isn't something we do very often in the Airbus, so you need to understand those principles when you really set the trim wheel at the start. So it's Boeing pilots will be a lot more familiar with trimming, so always trimming the aircraft down. I actually had a dual engine failure yesterday by accident. So I was in the sim. I was sorting my performance issues out, so I took off and I thought I need to put the weights in. Just got in the air quickly just to set performance, and what did I do? I loaded the aircraft and put a weight in, but I loaded the wrong weight, so I loaded zero fuel, and obviously a few seconds later I lost all my engines, no APU. So I thought, okay, well, I can just reset this and go again. But I turned it around and I brought it back into Heathrow with no engines, with the rat out. Quite a difference in controllability. You do need to throw the pitch in. And that's probably the one thing I haven't got hardware-wise, is the trim wheel. I have to go and spend a bit more money on that. And this dual engine failure is where you realise how much altitude is your friend. This is something that's taught very early on. You think, okay, when you first get into an aircraft, you think, your first day, your first trial lessons, the higher up you are, it's scary, but it's your altitude is your friend, speed is your friend in most circumstances. Altitude can give you speed. There's relationships. Optimization in the new sim. So there's lots of talk about how they've used better threaded optimization on the processors, on the CPUs. So that'd be interesting. And the recommended processors were interesting as well. So is there a difference there? Say, Chris, yeah, I mean, the engine failure scenario, it depends what altitude you're at, so it's very different. So if you've just departed an airport, you're going to be throwing the APU on, if you've got fuel. Pitching down, and hopefully you have a first officer with you who can work through things as pilot flying. You're going to be pitched down, maintain speed, APU on. You might try and restart if you've got time. Otherwise, you're going in as you are. You've got to watch the drag very closely on a dual engine failure. Flight level 370, okay, so APU can't be used for an engine start up above 250. So yeah, it's speed for you. So in that scenario, if you're just climbing out of an airport, it's a bit more interesting. But if you're making an immediate return from a takeoff with a dual engine failure, hit the APU, and that's not just to try and relight the engines. If anything, you've got a bit more of a hydraulic control of the aircraft, so getting your gear and your flaps available to you, and rollability, because you'll be on limited spoiler slat action on the aircraft. One thing that catches people is throwing everything out too early on the dual engine failure. So don't put all your flaps 1 can go early. That would have the biggest impact on lift. Go for a flaps 3 landing if you can, and don't throw flaps 2 and 3 out too soon until you're confident you're going to make the airfield. Dual engine failure on takeoff, on departure, comes up quite a lot in the sim on the recount training. More because of the gotcha around how the ECAM works. So if we lost an engine on one side, if we hit a flock of birds, lost an engine, and subsequently had an engine fire, say on the right side, the ECAM will prioritise the fire. It wants you to put the fire out, and as part of those checks, putting the fire out will mean shutting down the engine. But then you have no chance of any engine power, so it's teaching you to look at the bigger picture. The ECAM doesn't think, it's not intelligent, it's just prioritising messages as it's been programmed to. Yeah, say thinner at 250 or above, yeah, it's too thin to be useful. Ted, quite right. It will give you 370 will give you electrical power. It depends what you're throwing it on for. So it will help with that regard. So you can still get the APU on. It's going to help you with some system degradation. You'll obviously shed galley power and so forth, so you can bring the galley back on. You want to throw the APU on anyway, because once you get down to 250, so you can be on the drift, it's there and ready to go. So 1 hour 13 since we're off blocks, and 10:06 expected in, so just under an hour's time, so 55 minutes. We're about 160, 170 miles off the coast of Spain. Yeah. So Lima Echo Bravo Bravo would be a consideration for Bilbao. So before this point we can proceed to Bilbao now. It kind of makes sense. We'll check the wind in at Coral. .262 at 18. Adjusted it a little bit. It moved the ETP back a little bit with the wind. But I would want to check weather first, really, before we make that decision. Actually, we're going to Bilbao. Current conditions, let's have a look what we've got. One's at 3 knots, variable all the 9s, few at 2,500, no sig, so actually it's better than nonce to go back into anyway. Probably the best weather forecast I've seen, best current weather I've seen, actuals on the route so far. There we go, we've pre-planned our decision. Up to our ETP. At a time point here, if we have any major issues, we can. It's better for us, faster for us to head to Bilbao, where we have good weather. Always thinking ahead. I'm going to take terrain off the first officer side, bring it onto my side, because that is actually quite a factor for this part of the world we're probably heading into. Bring it down a little bit in the background there. Yeah, Ted, I guess that is my USP. It's a unique selling point there. And I was thinking about this the other day, because somebody else was saying, oh, why don't I get any views on YouTube, and why is this? And to be honest, I'm not here for YouTube fame. I'm just here to pass on information I know and can help flight simmers out in the real world, with real world knowledge, if you like. So that is indeed my USP. There's 101 people streaming Microsoft Flight Simulator out there, and some of it does frustrate me because, you know, there are people who have never stepped foot into an aircraft saying, oh, this is how you do that, this is how this happens, and well, this is how you do that, and a lot of it is wrong. There's a lot of misinformation out there. It does frustrate me to watch some of the stuff that gets shared. I think, put it this way, if I was to go on YouTube and be talking about economics, for example, and business, I'd want an economics and business degree and probably be quite senior doing that as a career somewhere. I would no, that's somebody giving, you know, proper advice. I think to be talking properly about an aircraft, you need to have the type rating for that aircraft, and you need to have experience flying it. And you know, that's the best source of the truth, if you like. So that is indeed my USP. It's not to it's not for YouTube fame, really. It's just to help the flight sim community along with some of that real world information that I think is missing, and in some cases misguided out there by, you know, people hearing one thing and jumping on it and then sharing that again themselves and so forth. Sorry, Pontiac, you seem to be told off there by Streamlabs. It's obviously a setting, it doesn't like capital letters. Don't take it personally. There's a setting there in the background. Perhaps I need to adjust down or something, but got to say, we've got a pretty good community though. We've got you know, a real core of people who want to learn and understand, and you know, all about the Airbus, which, you know, we flew the MD-82 last week, for an example, and I did declare that I was in no way knowledgeable of the aircraft, and thankfully, you know, one of the other channel community helped us out with that aircraft, and we all learned something. Traffic 1,000 below. Let's have a look what's going on out there. What have we got? Opposite direction. Porto to Manchester. EasyJet. There we go. Opposite direction traffic. Company traffic. Coming up. I'm past already. I need to range down and there we go. Coming in 10 miles. Closing speed. Close to 1,000. Where are you? There we go. Nice. Meeting our colleagues there. There we go. Opposite direction. I do have if you look at sort of my RMP tutorial, that's very similar to RNAV. It's just more of a requirements required in terms of system performance and what we check, but know the restrictions, always thinking ahead, make sure your box is properly programmed and reflects everything properly, and don't forget to just arm the approach. Obviously, it's not a localizer. It just makes sure it meets those restrictions going down, keeping the speed under control. It's really, you know, an RNAV is quite straightforward. I think people obviously get a little understanding, you know, all these things, and ILS is, you know, one of the simplest forms of landing, but People overthink it. You want to be coming down and checking your navigation accuracy is correct, and your progress page here, for example, you've got nav accuracy required. For this at the moment we've got 2, usually at 0.3 nautical miles, you're good. That's a requirement for our nav. FENIX does model that, I think some differences with satellite performance around the world, so we'll keep an eye on that one. And read the charts, so they'll all have different required navigation performance, so you're going to be cross-checking that that's suitable for the approach you're doing. Which one are you doing out of interest, Pontiac? I think Streamlabs kicked in there because some people just come in and they just like spam with capital letters all the time, you know, like just pages and pages of them. I think that happened on some channels, so it's a setting in Streamlabs. That's all. It's not stickers. I've got to say we don't have really a lot of trouble on nav into Darwin. Okay. Definitely not one I've done in the real world. But what's the iCUE code for Darwin? Drop below our maximum landing weight, which is always good. $62 now. Okay. Reminding myself which aircraft I'm flying. Yankee Papa Delta November. Okay. Darwin. You're doing the runway 11? Yeah, runway. It's a pretty straight in nav, yeah. Additional 10,000. You've got the standard descent angle, which is helpful, nothing too extreme. Taking it down to, we are now VNAV 430 feet. Yeah, it's a very straight approach. Yeah. So yeah, I just encourage you to just make sure everything's programmed as per the chart. Know your missed approach as well, your missed approach point. Ready to 430, which is 1.9 kilometres out. So it's saying kilometres, so we don't see that this part of the world sort of listed as kilometres in terms of a distance. Interesting. Perhaps we need to go down to Australia and do a bit of flying. We did New Zealand a little while back. So what's your missed approach there? It's back direct to. Oh, you're going back to a whiskey hotel. Okay. Under 3,000, then track 106, under 3,000. Okay, so pretty simple. One, as long as the box is set up, follow it down. Take manual control early if you've got conditions as well. Nice straight in approach like that. That's what we do in the real world. We're, you know. 120 miles to top of descent, our end. Runway 12 approach into Alice Springs. The views are amazing. Okay. I'm making a note of that. Alice Springs. I think we need to vary it up a bit, don't we? How long would a flight be? Sydney to Alice Springs. What will be a decent flight into there? Coastline of northern Spain coming into view. Bravo Alpha Sierra, okay. I'll make notes. 4 hours. That's long haul for us Airbus pilots, 4 hours. Adelaide, 2.5. I haven't done any of the bush flights myself, Chris. Start up here, right. So, 5110, 4, 590, 43, 70640, above 4,000 at Adenov. Coming in platform altitude 2,400. Let's do some arrival performance. Doing 17. Conditions, I'm going to say it's not wet, but good. It's going to be damp with this fog. Apply that 1017. So I'm just going to put that in now while we're in the cruise. Good times. Yep. Let's see, so our landing weight. Forecast to be 61.2 and currently 62.4. Well, that looks sensible, but I'm going to base it on 62. Get some margin in there, extra. Worst case scenario, it's a reasonably long runway. So auto brake's low, the flaps are full there. That's on idle reverse. Yeah. There's nobody behind us, it's a nice one to roll to the end on, to be honest. It's, performance isn't an issue basically. Oh, the Greece one. They do, okay, they do little bush flights in Greece. Didn't know that. Alright, let's put a bit of information in for our arrival. Beams at us. 017. Base it off. Let's use one source off the truth, shall we? Let's use this. 7 checks. 200 at 5. Broken at 200 feet, so yeah, definitely that Cat 2 ILS is what we want. 200 at 5. So radio altimeter 108. Radio 108. That's really the key difference on this, so you know, being Cat 1, Cat 2 here, using radio, not baro. (136) VLS 131. So approaching our echo time point, so we're pretty much going into Porto now. Any issues? That's where the real issue. We've started looking up things which are perhaps not ideal, but get us in. But Porto is now sensible. At 2.7 degrees. Hello. Wireless. Let's check that. Upper Romeo 109.9, 2.7 inbound course 170, 171. There's always that 1 degree difference in flight sim, so I'll leave it in. I know it's there. 1099 Papa Romeo is in and cross check with that all important slope there. What else do we need? So it's currently invest for our arrival. Put Porto on one side, 1141. PRT check, so it's not actually picking it yet. Reference point on the approach. Here we go. So PRT VOR DME required. So I was thinking that DME, that's just coming up here to look at DME. ILS DME reads 0 at the 17 threshold. Missed approach, straight ahead to flight level 60. Passing 3000, right turn to Retmo. Hope we got that in our box. That's good. Further on. 3000, Retmo, hold. Okay. Sensible. Going back. Aspor 110. There we go. 110. Just thinking it's some planning. Get that one out certainly. So between 643, yeah, flight level 100, above 90, above 70. What's it forecasting us to be at 640, 89? Okay. Throw that in as a reference to make sure get the aircraft down at a decent rate. Okay, so we checked out the rad nav. That's done. Yeah. Brief ourselves up. So we're at left-hand seat, landing into Porto's runway 17. I nav Asport 3 Tango arrival. So MSA's initially we've got 7.5 here, and we're dropping into the, which is giving the 5.1 zone here, into 3,000. Missed approach again will be 3,000, and out to sea where we got 2,000. In terms of fuel, we're good for, well, another 37 minutes, 1.2 tons before we need to make an alternate decision. We've got foggy conditions forecast, so there's fog around there, so visibility is a factor. Currently broken at 200. Approach minimum's 108 on the radio, so we're Cat 2 into ILS 17. Go around trajectory we discussed, it's straight ahead to flight level 60, turning right to Retmo at 3000. So we'll be ILS Cat 2, we'll go config full. Stop margin, well, we checked out our figures there, it's in terms of runway length, it's not a factor today, and we're below maximum landing weight. So we've got auto brakes low, and pending traffic we may try and roll to the end and vacate as late as possible. Hotspots, okay, we've got this Alpha 3 intersection here which we'll be rolling past. We'll just keep a good listen out and see who's on frequency for that. In terms of special ops, okay, it's only the fog really, it's the threat today. We've got terrain as we come in. We've checked our programming of our descent profile. We'll get our constraints up now. So we're good for that arrival. We just need to keep terrain on the captain's side. We're on VATSIM. We'll just have a quick check of anything going on VATSIM wise in the Porto area. So there are a few inbounds. Bit of activity, no control currently online. So we'll just make standard calls. Looks like we're next to arrive. Yeah. So yeah, it's really the fog. Obviously, simulators had a recent update as well, so we'll just check out any handling. One to keep an eye on. Things changed there, but we'll be go around minded due to fog and conditions. Yep, can't think of any other threats there other than that piece. So any questions? No questions? No non-solid operations. Aircraft's fully serviceable. Should that change, we will rebrief. Thank you. Oh, got improved again, so 5,000, broken 400, so it's the latest. So 1904. It's variable. The reduction in winds doesn't really I need to reconsider landing performance. Same direction. Okay, that's fine. But yeah, visibility has improved slightly. Almost approaching Cat 1, but we'll set up for Cat 2. Ladies and gentlemen, from the flight deck, there's your captain speaking. We shall be getting top of descent down into Porto. Currently conditions on the ground 17 degrees. There's a bit of fog around, so visibility isn't great at the moment, but we should be getting you in for an on-time arrival, surely in the next half an hour. If you need anything, please reach out to a member of the crew. I'm more than happy to assist, and I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you for flying EasyJet, and I wish you a safe onward journey. Right, passengers happy. Yannick, good morning to you. Very well, thank you, Yannick. How are you? Reaching top of descent. Just it's down now. So it's 200 in initially. Into descent. Highway crew, top of descent. I hit the wrong button there, didn't I? So the A button. Have I ever? It should be. Yeah, that's right. Have I? Yes. Oh, yes. We've all done that. You're not a real pilot until you've updated the tower on your arrival time. I think it's more easily done in some aircraft than others. I think the Airbuses and have done it, but some aircraft are a little bit more of a how the systems work. I think it probably captures you more easily than the Airbus does. So in the descent. Four tons of fuel on board, still nicely balanced. 38 minutes to play with. Okay. Right, let me get my fly pad to something a bit more. I'm still looking at Darwin, Pontiac. Right, that looks confusing. This is not where I'm going. Set up for the approach into Darwin. We'll yes, into Porto. Right. Our clearance limit is ADNOF at 4,000. Yannick, far away. The rain is going to be increasing in height shortly as we come across some of the mountainous areas here. It's all fine, Pontiac. That's don't worry about the stream bots. there to be upset. That's what he's there for. So we've got a headwind component of 4 knots, cross of 1 knot currently, so it's, wind is not a factor. Conditions are mist, so it's fog there, but yeah. Misty conditions. Good to go, Yannick? No problem. Have a good day. See you next time. No problem. See you next time, Yannick. Take care. Writing this up a bit. Yannick, the announcement you made to the wrong channel. It's just giving the giving you a cabin update to London Control. I think it was. It happens to the best of us. You just get some. Luckily, it was. I think it was late at night, so I'm not sure that's a good thing or a bad thing. Well, London's not so busy late at night, so you're coming back in, and fortunately, the downside of it being not too busy is that you'll get more banter. You'll always get comments and people having a laugh. Air traffic control at night is very different today. Notice if you sort of listen to it at I don't know, say 11 o'clock at night, and half 10 onwards, still the odd flight coming in and out, but mostly cargo. But yeah, they're at that time of night they're amused, and it's more of a joke. If I did it to London Control during the day when they're all struggling to get a word in, I'll probably get a sarky response saying something along the lines of keeping the channel free and getting my knuckles wrapped for blocking the frequency up. Yeah, air traffic control is a little bit more. There's a little bit more chat at night. Someone might say, "Oh, how are you?" I'm very well. Do recognise people. Airports, especially your base. Luckily, that did happen at night, so we can take the funny side and didn't block a frequency up. It's all part of pilot initiation. How are we doing? Right, let's put in 110 in the window. Should be plus 110 aspal. There's an extra stop. I won't select lower than 110. Rain is rising, but it drops off quite sharply after Upper Romeo 643. You tend to hear it more on people doing that. You tend to hear it more on the ground. There's just usually be ground frequency. Luckily, it's just so impactful, but or clearance or something like that. But depends on which airport you're at. But it's just updating the passengers of why you got a delay. But you do hear them moaning about air traffic control sometimes, and sometimes it's sometimes you just use it as a bit of a. It's not actually air traffic control, but we'll use that, and then air traffic control will sort of a bit grumpy. Are you blaming us? It can be quite funny. Broken 400, broken 22, 17 degrees, on 10:17. runway elevation is 151 feet. A transition altitude of 4,000 feet, which is going to be Adnov. So we're set up for the Cat 2 due to the possibility of mist. So we've left the thunderstorms of the UK behind and some torrential rain to arrive in misty conditions. Actually see a bit of clearing sea fog, I guess. Water. Salzburg, oh I like Salzburg, I would have to do Salzburg. We'll go and see Mozart, let's go and see Mozart, we'll do a trip to Salzburg. So passing Aspor, I'm going to put 90 in the window, 9, flight level 90 blue. In the right turn to Papa Romeo 643. Nav accuracy is high, 0.03 nautical miles. Salzburg, yes, Salzburg, Salzburg. Okay, yeah. Know it well. I'm wearing 30. Descending turn. Turns like that, you want to come up here on the PFD, and you just look at your sort of your standard rate turns and understand them really well, what they give you. Comes with practice. Jan is back for a minute. For group flights, will VATSIM be a requirement? Well, I suppose we'll all have to log on and see each other somewhere, won't we, in the real world. So, just thinking out loud, you would need a server of some description. Or could it be multiplayer mode? That replace it? No, we haven't done our first group flight yet, so we must jump on this. We're +7 now, keep coming down. So I'd probably aim to do a VATSIM, to be honest. Not necessarily in a busy part of the world where you've got lots of ATC on. Alright, so flight 100. I'm going to start getting the cabin sorted. Things turned on, and seatbelts on now. We're going to be a little bit bumpy as we come in over some of this terrain as well, so. aircraft's chasing the vertical profile a bit there. On the limit of speed, it's probably almost going to be crying out for a bit of drag.
We will shortly be landing. Please ensure your baggage and all personal belongings, including laptops, are safely stowed. Your tray table must
Jan, in terms of touchdown, so you'll have 2 solid white blocks, and that is the touchdown marker. Beyond that you'll see smaller blocks. Once you're past the end of those blocks on the runway, you are not legal. So you need to be in that touchdown zone. So the white blocks really mark the start of the touchdown zone and the preferred point where calculations are made from. But beyond the series of blocks, you'll see that they get a bit smaller, smaller white strips down the runway. If you land beyond those, you're essentially illegal, and your landing performance will be invalid, your calculations. You don't have to hit the white blocks. Sometimes we don't on purpose, so we've got a long landing, we say, oh, okay, we'll let it roll a bit and float it a bit. Right, we're a bit high. I'm throwing the speed brakes out. This line coming up. 12,000. The local 1017. I put these on those lights on. They wouldn't come on in the real world. They'll come on with the landing, but get them on now because we're single crewed and simulator's frozen. And freeze, please. Freeze. There we go. Oh god, that's not good. That's a scary one, wasn't it? That. Right, so watching my VLS there. With the speed brakes deployed. And we could go flat 1 here to give us a VLS margin. We're just coming into VLS, sorry, flat -10 limiting speed. So there we go. So flaps 1 in. Allows us to hold the speed brake out.
Cabin crew must now be seated for landing. Thank you.
The Lockstar, we have dual autopilot 1 and 2. We are a little bit high here, so above 4,000 there, just above the glide. Keep this rate of descent, we should intercept. Glide slope from above, so you can target glide slope from above with more than up to 1,500 feet per minute. And temperature +16. Think about the icing. The slope start, it has picked it up. And accelerator, so what we want to do here, we can do an early drop of the gear. Yeah, an early drop 12 miles, that would help us out. That way we won't exceeds flap limiting. Better than any speed brake you can have. Nicely keeping it in the and then we can go flaps 2. Which phase is active? Just double checking that. Bit of a flatter approach here, and you can see conditions are a little bit misty out there. So 6,000 is blue for missed approach. 9 miles to under Papa Romeo. I'm going to, bear with me one moment while I start our recording system. Recording is on. RO11017, seatbelts are on, minimum set, and auto brake is as required, auto brake's 1, and that's 3. Good hold speed there, but taking it back early. That's up early. And cabin, got the cabin secure yet? No announcement there from cabin. ELS a little bit close to margin there, might go 137 just to give it a bit of clearance, a bit of headway. Into the Fargo plus 17, we're not nicing. Landing gear down, signs on, spoilers are. Arm spoilers. There we go, there we go. Any memo landing, no blue. Right, descending into low cloud mist. Cabin crew, seats for landing please, seats for landing. Mist approach 6,000 blue. ELS, keep an eye on that, still 138. It's the balance of floating versus having a sensible margin there. I can have a knot in. Views out. Noticeably flatter approach as we come in. Plus 18. Which runway's not yet in sight. We are 4 miles out. .108 is our minimums on the radio altimeter. .700 feet. No runway. Runway in sight. Coming in. 500 feet radio.
500.
The weight's too red, seen. Over the VOR. Okay, autopilot's coming out my control. At 1. Here's your 2 white blocks, Jan, for landing. Touchdown zone.
100 above. Minimum.
Displace threshold. Continue.
50. 40. 30. 20. Retard. 5.
Reverse, spoilers, and decel. The hump. What was that master caution? Was that a reverse unlock? 70 knots. Did want a bit of a right rudder there as we touched down. Manual braking. Roll it down. No traffic behind. I didn't do any VATSIM calls, there's no traffic around, but saying that someone could have logged in. Hopefully are the only people in Porto. I just wanted, that's a throttle sensitivity issue on landing. I didn't see what it was that flashed up there. A little bit of wind courses there, so threw a bit of right rudder in. So probably as I retarded the throttles, it picked up reverse before we touched down. I imagine that's what that was. Possibly. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Porto. Local time is it's probably it's 12:06 in Porto, isn't it? That flaps up.
Ladies and gentlemen, the cabin crew will shortly be leaving their seats to perform safety-related duties. However, we ask that you remain seated until the fasten
Yeah, buttons, some of these things, I should be using them for hardware.
Portable electronic devices for messaging, calls or internet access may now be used. Please make sure that you take all your personal belongings with you, checking in the seat pocket.
Right, Tobi eye tracker. We are cleared left side and clear right side. No traffic here.
Smoking is not permitted until you reach a designated smoking area. On behalf of the captain and the crew, it has been our pleasure looking after you today. Our ground crew will help you complete your EasyJet journey. For the latest news, promotions, flight and destination information, check out our official Facebook page, Twitter or EasyJet app.
It was pretty misty there, wasn't it? I'm glad we set up for the Cat 2. It's always best to go worst case rather than have to go around, rebrief, reset up. It could have been, was worse a little bit earlier, so it's definitely the right thing to do. Right, remind me to have a look at the replay. So we'll get parked up before we shut the engines down. We'll have a look at the replay. Naturally migrating towards where I was last time I was in Porto, I think. APU is available. Yeah, a 10. Warning under chrome. Time for some landing replay action. Right, let me just come off VATSIM for the replay. Disconnect, we are disconnected. And stop recording. Replay. Right, this is where I need to get the aircraft configured. Just wheels down. I'll move us in a little bit. There we go, flaps are coming down. I'll just pause that so we're coming a little bit closer in. and resume replay. There we go. I did get a little bit of a gust there just as we touched down, so it did require a little bit of a rudder. I have been playing around with sensitivities, and my rudder did seem very sensitive. That's all. Just for that needs a bit of smoothing, sorting out. That little dab I put in felt very harsh, so I just need to have a look at those settings. That's nothing to do with the aircraft. That's my hardware calibration. Right, where are we in relation to the runway? Runway still not in sight, it's coming up, but just coming in there, the lights. Here's the VOR. I see the touchdown. Look, just needed a bit of right rudder there. For what's forecast to be a 1 knot crosswind, that was 4 knot headwind. That was, the wind was a little bit more interfering there than I was expecting. So let's have another look shall we have a look from the front? Don't make it so long this time. Let's bring it back again. Have a look at the yaw-wing motion there on touchdown. Wow. Well, you won't be sitting on the beach today down here, will you, in this mist? Yeah, quite a oh, got a bit exciting there on touchdown, isn't it? It's yawing around. A little bit sensitive there on the rudder. Okay, and we'll have another look from inside, shall we? There's a few things on the approach. So we came in a little bit high. I probably should have put a harder marker on descent. Yes, sort of flat 100 mark. I put the range ring in to give myself a clue of that, but it's knowing how to recover the aircraft within the limitations. That's really important. So use of landing gear there. So the early use, we put it down at about 12.5 miles out. It's not uncommon to do that because there are certain approaches we just can't lose the speed. It's knowing your limitations. Had we not done that, the aircraft would have wanted to go down and we would have gone above our flap limiting speed. And had we not put the flaps out, we wouldn't have had the spoilers available. So it's just having a really good understanding of your options on that approach. So or not just that approach in general, available to you to use within your limits and operating procedures as well. all looks quite dramatic when you look at it from outside, but inside as a passenger, a very normal landing. Yeah. Take that one. Down safely. The flaps up for you for a bit of a flap action noise. You like that? Excellent. So I'll let you watch the whole taxi, and I'll take you back to the gate. With my parking brakes. Bang! There we go. Land on the ground again. Right. So we close the replay tool. Go back in the front. Just make sure our parking brake on. Kicks off. Right. Auto lights out because they would have been readjusted for the take our engines out. Get the N2 down. Yeah, cabin crew approach, the ground crew approach. Power is available. Yep, on ultra settings are pretty much most things, apart from water waves and the odd few things, but to be honest I probably could have cranked those up. We've arrived, yes, deboard. Are we deboarding automatic? Did I take the seatbelts off? Seatbelts.
Ladies and gentlemen, your portable electronic devices must not be used until you are inside the airport. When disembarking, please take care and hold on to the handrails while walking down the stairs. Please ensure that you supervise your children, and for your own safety, do not walk underneath the wing.
Walk under the wing in case you get a fuel spill. It vents out on your head. It's not nice. We're not getting any. We're taking the baggage off, but not the people. Are we waiting? We're not doing average today. Oh, look if we can get an average over or not. So there's a cabin announcements Discord, and you can download them from there. DLN. What's the page called? Cabin announcements. Download. They've got them all for all the aircraft. Download them and file in. Tells you how to do it somewhere within that page, but yeah, that's what you want. Well, we're not really. Is this playing up? It's just. Open door left, for example. Getaway's not interested. Boxer in. Not giving me my stairs. Not seeing any buses arrive, so maybe taking these people back. Anyway, the joys of press boarding. Deboarding passengers now. Okay. Agree with that. Let's do its thing. Yes, so cabin announcements Discord is that one's from, and they're available. Other airlines, I believe, are available. Do check that out. Excellent. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. It's been a nice one to do. I'd love to check out Alice Springs in Australia. Perhaps we'll do something there. Salzburg keeps coming up, so put it on the list. Get the 3-0 approach into Salzburg sorted. But yeah, it's not a beach day at the moment here in Porto. But thank you for joining me this morning. I've enjoyed that. Nice to get one in after a busy week, being stuck out in the operation in the real world. Hopefully we'll get another one in soon and get a bit more content created and back out for you to enjoy as well. So it's coming as and when I can. Yep, thanks for joining me all, and I wish you a pleasant rest of your Sundays wherever you may be, and I'll catch you on the next one.